Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hey, I'm Francesca.
Welcome back to our podcast, Critical Babe Theory. Francesca, welcome back.
Oh my God, thank you.
You were gone for 2 weeks.
So long. I think like 2.5 weeks. I mean, long enough that it felt like I was living another life, like New York didn't even exist, like maybe California could take me into its warm arms and I could just like sink back into the quality of life and forsake all ambition and just eat good food the rest of my life.
In San Francisco, specifically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is my mic... Okay, sorry. Okay, so, but why'd you come back? What about the Silicon Valley infiltration? That did not hamper the San Francisco vibe?
Look, man, I mean, it's been hollowed out culturally, right? I was having this conversation with my friend who I was staying with, but it's like San Francisco is still gorgeous, and like there's value in having a beautiful, like really hot wife who doesn't have that much depth. Like sometimes beauty is enough.
In San Francisco.
I'm just saying, like in San Francisco, the correlate would be the hot wife.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes beauty is enough. Beauty is something.
Yeah.
And it's a lot.
Right.
So I guess like as I was driving through the streets of San Francisco, these gorgeous, gorgeous streets, the facade of the great San Francisco of my youth, it still looks the same on the outside. Now, if you dig deeper, you find the Silicon Valley cuddle puddle AI accelerant.
What's a cuddle puddle?
Oh, it's like
do I not want to know?
You don't.
It sounds sexual.
I think actually, Sarah, that's the sad part. It's for those who can't find their way into an orgy. So instead you just like, I guess, cuddle with a lot of people.
Who does this?
So there was this amazing article in the New Yorker a couple years ago about about the de-accelerationist community in in the Bay Area. It's mostly in the East Bay these days. But like tangential to that, most of them are engaged in the polyamory community there, or the sex positive community. There's like all these overlapping, but they would have these cuddle parties where people would fall into cuddle puddles, which is like, imagine an orgy, but like with no dicks or something, with like no nudity.
Right.
So everybody's just like
with no sex.
With no sex. So everybody's just like holding each other, but then they're like kids are running around. It's just the most embarrassing thing you could possibly imagine. Wow. And like that's who lives. I mean, that's why Ayala seems like comparatively kind of cool. Like at least she's getting banged by a gang. Do you know what I mean? As compared to like cuddling.
I think there's a happy medium for sure. I'm not sure that if I was presented with one or the other, I would be able to. I honestly probably would choose the cuddle puddle, but but it's still super. It sounds awful.
Yeah,
it sounds like, humiliating.
Yeah, that's who lives in San Francisco. But
did you receive any invitations while you were there?
No, I mean, we keep this is, maybe I shouldn't admit this out loud. I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast. When I was there, maybe like a year or two ago, so when I was coming of, like, there was this movement that happened right when the second tech bubble was happening, where Google, have I not talked about this, where Google buses were using municipal bus stops, muni bus stops, to pick up people in San Francisco and take them down to San Jose?
No, you haven't talked about this.
So then there was this, like, because still there were anarchists in San Francisco then, right, and sort of like alternative people and artists, all this stuff. So they started pushing over the Google buses, because the Google buses, like, and they made the deal with the mayor at the time. What was his name? I won't remember. It was like Google was paying like $250 a year to use municipal bus stops, which was like completely fucking up public transportation in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right. But like the city was so willing to just spread its legs open for the tech industry, you know? So a bunch of anarchists started, like, they would get together and they would all push over the Google buses, right? And there was a motto back then, which was "Die Techie Scum." So if you were a real dyed-in-the-wool San Franciscan, that was generally your attitude towards Silicon Valley. And when I was there, like last year, I was not with my kids, but I saw this guy taking a run. I was up early, you know, because that's what happens when you go from New York to San Francisco. I was up at like 5:30, and I went out to get a coffee, and I saw this guy run past me, and it almost passed forth from my lips without even thinking, die, techie scum. Like, that's how deep it goes.
Yeah.
As a San Franciscan.
Uh-huh.
The hatred of Silicon Valley and what it's done to this, like, wild, esoteric city of the weird and lost, you know, that was a paradise.
Was it a paradise?
Like, Sarah,
like slouching towards Bethlehem style.
That's fucking Los Angeles. That's
really?
A completely different situation. I can't vouch for Los Angeles because I have pretty negative thoughts about it, but talk to anybody who was in San Francisco.
Is slouching towards Bethlehem in LA?
I thought it was in LA.
I think it's in San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that would be fucking embarrassing.
I don't know. I'll check. One of us is going to be embarrassed.
It's inevitable in life. You got to take risks, right? But my point is, if you talk to anybody who was in San Francisco in the 90s, I mean, I think you could go back further than that, but the 90s or early 2000s, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was a culture. It was a time. It was a city full of life that has been drained out of it.
I would like to push over a Google bus.
Right?
That sounds fun.
Doesn't that sound amazing? I don't think there were any major injuries.
Yeah, that is an example of a rebellion that I will bring up again later on when we talk about the article we're going to talk about that raises the possibility that women complaining is perhaps a radical act.
Oh yeah, that was insane. Yeah,
but
totally.
You know,
what did you do the last 2.5 weeks?
Who knows? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I honestly don't remember.
Totally.
I've been feeling pretty antisocial. I'm having late summer. No, I'm just having like late summer. Like, okay, it was fun and I'm ready to move into fall. I had a pretty good summer, yeah.
Huh.
But I wasn't taking care of 2 children all summer without childcare.
Totally. Yeah. I know. I'm like, why didn't I have the most fun summer ever? Maybe that's why. I'm honestly grateful. There was a chill in the air when I came back, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
You know?
Back to school weather.
Back to school. Also, I just prefer the cold. Personally, I know. Isn't that awful?
Yeah. But when were you born?
February.
Yeah.
But also where I grew up, I'm a homebody. But I feel morally it's wrong to stay home when it's sunny, which puts me in a real conflict in the summer months. A conflict I have a hard time resolving, or I don't resolve, you know? But I just want it to be raining out and like 55 degrees and foggy all the time. That's my ideal circumstances.
Well, I think in our new tropical climate we're experiencing, we will get a lot of rain. I've experienced recently some monsoon like conditions. Yeah, New York. The subway's been flooding. We're getting rain for sure.
It's going to do that tomorrow, allegedly. And I was like, thank God I'm on high ground. Here in the Upper West Side.
Are you going to invite people in?
You know what? I mean, if anybody wants to I could have a day party tomorrow.
Have you read this book called The Princess of 72nd Street?
No.
Oh, you have to read it. You are kind of the Princess of 72nd Street, except a little bit north. It's this woman who she has these episodes called The Radiances, which are basically like she's having like a manic episode.
Okay.
But when she's manic, she believes that she is the princess of 72nd Street and that the surrounding radius is her kingdom. And so she
none of this sounds hard to fathom at all. Yeah, for sure.
No, and so she like has all of these duties as princess, and she's like going around to all of the shops and like letting them like experience her, you know. And she has like a specific style that she does, that she dons when she's the princess, and she like never goes to the east side.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
She doesn't even like to go to Central Park because she feels like energetically like the east side is like sucking something out of her.
Oh, interesting. There is a density of gravity to the Great Lawn. I would say, in my experience.
Yeah.
It could be like the eye of the storm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wonder if there was a massacre there or something.
Probably, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
So a lot has been happening. Have you been paying attention to the news?
My attention span after having my kids but also working simultaneously is pretty much no. It's imagine like taking small plastic pieces of a disintegrating toy and then just like throwing them at like putty. That's kind of what my attention span is like right now.
Yeah. You feel ADD? No.
Is that what that is?
I mean, that's when you have a problem with attention.
I don't. I have
attention deficit disorder.
I have been resistant to ever identifying with that. Also, I really love cocaine. And somebody was just reminding me that if you have ADD, when you take cocaine, you just feel normal.
Totally.
And that is not my experience with cocaine. So I'll use that in my defense. Maybe I have ADD. What could I get out of that?
Adderall.
No, I mean, like, is that a disability?
Extra time.
Extra time with whom?
You would have to be in school.
Oh God.
I don't know. I don't know in terms of disability. I guess so.
It'd be great
you
if I
would
just
get to
extra
be
time.
Neurodivergent.
I find that word to be really challenging.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? It's a way better than though. Have you heard the worst word that people use on the internet? It's so embarrassing.
I don't think so.
Neurospicy.
I just had a friend tell me that her therapist told her that.
This is why literally, are you fucking kidding me?
It was helpful information to her.
Yeah, all sorts of things are helpful information. Who's the leader of the Jonestown cult? I'm sure he was full of helpful information. Do you know what I mean?
Don't compare therapists to the leader of the Jonestown cult. Dude. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's been going on.
Please.
I'm going to open this, my little...
Illuminate me.
Okay, jobs report. Bad.
Obviously. Hello.
Yeah.
Everybody I know is fucking broke.
Yeah, and it just came out in a report, so you know it's official.
Totally official. They're so broke.
Yeah, not adding enough jobs for people. Okay, Donald Trump not dead.
Yeah, AI tried to show me that he had a tumor growing out of his forehead, and I was like, I'm not an idiot. You know what I mean?
Like on Instagram?
Yeah. I was like, I don't even look at Instagram anymore because it's all slop. Ever since Harry came on, ever since I listened to Harry's podcast about slop, the Instagram was listening to the talking, and now it only shows me slop.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Like tigers, like Siberian tigers, interacting with great white sharks, and I'm just like, I'm not stupid, you guys.
I mean, I don't think I think that it's supposed to be like so beyond belief that you'll like watch the whole thing, you know, like you'll give them
your eyes.
Yeah, and then you'll send it to your friend, like, look at this stupid shit, you know.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed that point.
I'm guessing people make money off of that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that Siberian tigers and great white sharks are not in the same place.
Yeah, but I don't think that material is being produced for people to enjoy. I think it's like rage bait.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So, image-based rage bait.
Yeah.
Well, I could think of a lot more fun things you can do than that. But anyway, okay, got it.
So, contrary to what AI tried to... I just, like, honestly think Donald Trump's, like, gonna live to an old age.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever seen those old alcoholics who are just, like, pickled? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? He's just pickled. He's pickled with McDonald's. Yeah. He's pickled with sin.
Yeah, it's all that salt.
Yeah, he's just pickled and dry, very leathery, very dry interior. Sort of like have you ever touched wood that has dry rot? You kind of reach in and it just sort of disintegrates into your hands.
No.
Yeah, I imagine he's like that on the inside.
Did you see that he sent out an email that said, like, I want to go to heaven his supporters. I think that was also fueling the rumors where like people were like, why is Trump thinking about the afterlife?
He, if anyone, should know that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. No?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. Who's his pastor? Who's his chaplain?
He's openly not a Christian.
He has a personal chaplain who goes around with him and tells him what to think.
I think it's that woman that like speaks in tongues.
Laura Loomer?
No, she's Jewish.
No.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I swear to God. There's like a famous video of her.
Laura Loomer is Jewish?
You can fact check me.
I just want to get eyes on her. Okay.
Yeah, there's a weird video of her like hitting on some guy at the bar and being like, making some like very anti-Semitic remark about herself.
This sounds like AI, but we're not going to go that deep into a fact check right now.
She's definitely Jewish.
Laura Elizabeth Loomer? Oh my God. Wow. God, the world is so amazing.
She is Jewish.
Okay, I don't know. I haven't.
Oh, you haven't found it yet?
I just got lost on the photo.
I know. It's really shocking. I want to do an episode about like the MAGA face and how people, it's so interesting that, maybe I've already said this on the podcast, but that like MAGA people are so like transphobic, right?
Yeah, but
then they do all of this like
facial feminization surgery.
Yeah, like they are kind of trans, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like Laura Loomer,
she's not giving natural female. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like, you know, the only reason I'm pointing out is because it's quite hypocritical, in my opinion.
Yes, Search Assist, which I try to never look at. I use DuckDuckGo, and they're giving me AI.
I know.
How do I... Okay, we'll get rid of that. It is saying yes.
She's Jewish.
Wow.
I know. Yikes. You wouldn't expect it.
Yikes.
So speaking of trans people,
oh my goodness,
more news is that in a twist of fate,
shocking turn,
beyond parody, the NRA is now speaking out about trans rights, specifically for trans people to own a gun. So that is what it took for conservatives to stand up for trans people, is when their gun rights were threatened.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought in the moral calculus of that paradigm that that's how it would play out.
Can you imagine being so, like being so pro-gun that you're willing to
set aside all of your other beliefs? I really relate to the Charlton Heston quote of "you can pry it out of my cold, dead hands," just in relationship to like as an attitude or something. I guess what people would say like as a vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like I relate to that personality type.
Yeah.
And so if you are the pry it out of my cold, dead hands personality type, which Charlton was, and I would say I am, obstinate or something, then maybe in that world it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's something diabolical about that.
Yeah.
You know? Totally. That's what I think. And I think he was diabolical. I guess I feel like a little diabolical.
What is your gun in this metaphor?
My principles?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm all about... Let's really not maybe put this to the test. I'm like, I could see making decisions that other people would think were deeply foolish to stand on my principles.
Yeah.
Now people are like, really? You mean that, bitch?
Can I talk about the TikTok message we got?
Which one? I don't remember.
The one about Gavin Newsom.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy messaged us on TikTok. His bio is so weird. There's no way he's going to listen to this podcast. Whatever, I don't care. His bio is so weird. I guess he was a speech. His website brands him as an idea man. Which I'm like, are we all? No, but his bio is like includes the fact that he was one of the few Americans at Princess Diana's funeral, Which, like, honestly, I would put in my bio too. Like, it's cool, but it's just...
I don't think I would put it in my bio out of respect, but I probably bring it up at every party.
Yeah. There you go.
Right?
And, yeah.
But not on paper, maybe.
I don't know how many parties he's getting invited to. Maybe that's why he had to put it in his bio. But he is like some centrist Democrat who posts videos online. And I posted this video about Israel and how, like, the Democrats are hypocritical for calling upon us to fight this fascist, cruel regime of Donald Trump's administration when they're still supporting Israel. And he was like, you know, I really encourage you to read what I wrote about this. I truly think it's the only way. And then he just sent me like a very short Substack about how there has to be a 2-state solution. I was like, okay. like as if it was some revolutionary idea. Anyway, so he was kind of shitting on me for that. And the first thing he did was challenge me to a TikTok debate. Which I was like,
sure.
Yeah, you would do it. I wouldn't do it.
I just love to argue with... I find it very invigorating. Like, I always come away from a fight and an argument being like, you know?
I get very emotional.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
But, and then he told us that he was preparing a list of, quote, influencers.
Which I was like, oh my God, you mean us?
Mm-hmm. Democratic influencers that he was going to share with his friends, his close friend, Gavin. And, you know, about to offer them as, you know, people to keep in mind for the special elections, that, like, we could be spreading the good news of the Democratic Party. And so I said, sure, throw our name in the hat. Like, so I guess what I'm asking you is, would you, if Gavin Newsom was paying us...
Oh, he would pay us?
I don't know. There was a long article that I read about the dark money funding Democratic influencers. Yeah.
Wait, where did you read this article? In the New York Post?
No.
There's the actual... Oh my God, please send us some of your dark money. Are there any strings attached?
Yes.
But, like, are they, like, guidelines, or do you have to, like, sign a contract?
You have to sign a contract.
Yeah. What, to not be an asshole about Gavin Newsom? He's such a fucking clown.
I'm sure that's one of them. I'm sure that's one of them.
He knows he's a clown. You know what? I bet he likes it. I bet he likes to be told what a fucking pathetic little clown he is. Do you know what I mean? I just can tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that could be part of the contract.
Mm-hmm. What, like Findom Gavin Newsom? I think that's a separate contract from the one that this guy is offering us.
I don't know. I mean, they're all sickos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. But I don't know yeah, totally. You're so right. Yeah, I'm sure that's what.
I'm all about being open-minded. I don't think we're really the ones to shill for Gavin Newsom, though.
No.
I just don't think that we're I mean, we literally did a whole episode making fun of him.
I don't think we actually released that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but because the sound was so bad.
Oh, good riddance.
Yeah, but we are, you know.
Would I shill for... No, I would not. I would talk honestly about his good qualities while making fun of him. But that's the best anybody can ask for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I wouldn't agree. You know.
But that's the thing, is, like, you have to get down to the small print. What are they really asking for? Do I think California should redistrict? Probably.
I'm down for that, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like...
An eye for an eye.
Eye for an eye. Let's take it back to the Older Testament. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Also, like, I'm not for pussies. So, like, I don't think the Democrats should be pussies anymore. And they're always, like, whining, you know, that, like, they're not playing fair. So it's like, okay, bitch. So, like, play hard on the playground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hit them really hard and maybe they'll leave you alone. That's just how the playground works, you know?
Yeah, those are the rules, kids. You push me, I push you. Yeah, I'm sure there's rules about talking about AIPAC. I'm guessing.
Did you see the Richie Torres interview?
Yeah.
On the Adam Friedland
I saw
show?
the clips, yeah. Psycho robot.
Dude, I didn't understand why Adam Friedland didn't ask him, how much money are you being paid by AIPAC?
Oh, well, that's public knowledge, I'm sure.
I tried to find it and I couldn't find it. No, my internet skills are severely lacking.
Dude, DuckDuckGo, you can't find anything.
Oh, is it a DuckDuckGo issue that I'm having?
Yeah, I like basically can do no research or private investigation on DuckDuckGo.
That's why I'm so blissfully unaware of everything, because of my search engine.
Yeah.
Like, someone was like, so what's your ex-husband, your first ex-husband up to? I was like, I have no idea. They were like, you didn't try to find him? I was like, no.
Yeah. It's because of DuckDuckGo, probably. I don't know. I've experienced this. I've heard from other people that DuckDuckGo is holding them back from their research abilities.
Can you imagine that Google just got a slap on the wrist and that's it? Did you hear about that? In the antitrust law? Lena Khan, everybody wanted to fuck you, but now you're old news, right?
Who's Lena Khan?
Lena Khan is this, like, she's the head of the FCC. Is that right? One of those organizations, and both people on the left and right are like really into her. She's bringing all these antitrust suits. But here's the problem with antitrust law in the United States of America. Okay? And I don't understand this. Mm-hmm. You can only bring forward like monopoly cases and all that shit if it's detrimental to the consumer in terms of like consumer choice and consumer pricing. But I'm like, there's clearly other times when trust and monopolies are bad, other than whether it negatively affects consumers. So for instance, like people would try to bring suits against Amazon, but Amazon was always like, well, we gave the customer the best and cheapest amount of options. So people were like, oh God, I guess there's nothing we can do. As if that's the only calculus. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, whatever. Google just got a slap on the wrist, which is really disappointing because, you know what? Look, you can record me. I'm saying it live, whatever, on the internet.
You're actually saying it recorded and not live.
Trump does some stuff I agree with. He was talking all this stuff about antitrust. I was like, great. I love that. He's anti-free trade. I'm not that pro-free trade. You know what I mean? I'll align with him where I align with him. And I don't have any bones. I don't have any beans about it. I'm like, so my brain is so mixed up that I can't even get my like aphorisms correct.
Yeah, that's okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But basically, I was excited that he was bringing all this antitrust stuff against big tech. But then they just pissed out and they lost.
Well, yeah. And also, like, he just got all those donations. You know what? I mean, like, did he want to appear, much like the Democrats, such as Cory Booker, did he want to appear like he was doing something but not actually do it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, did he want to have the appearance of being antitrust without actually...
Maybe. I guess it all came down to the judge who decided it. Now, was he slipping some money to the judge? Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know how these things work. I guess you're not supposed to defame federal judges or whatever. I was sort of getting paranoid. I was like, do people take what we say seriously or literally?
This is a comedy podcast.
My point is, the judge decided, okay, so you're saying, but Trump does appear to be anti-free trade. For realsy.
With all the tariffs?
Yeah, no backsies. But I guess a lot of backsies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Trump has his merits. He's also doing vigilante justice in the Caribbean. Did you see the boat that he bombed?
No.
Yeah, he just dropped a freaking bomb on this boat off the coast of Venezuela.
A bomb? Like a tap?
Or like a drone or like a something that blew up the boat.
Oh, shit.
Because he said they were Trans-Aragua drug smugglers.
Yeah, but he's just saying, remember anybody who wears like NFL, didn't we talk about
They
this?
haven't released any proof. We have no information if like the boat was given an opportunity to surrender. Okay, so when I was living, I have very strong feelings about this because when I was living in St. Croix.
Yeah, a small Caribbean island.
Yeah, it's one of the U.S. Virgin Islands. There was a big case about these Venezuelan men who were trying to smuggle drugs into... I don't know where they were going, but they got caught. They got brought to St. Croix. And, you know, they were all these guys in their 20s. They were, like, very poor fishermen farmers who were obviously desperate and, like, took this job and weren't making a lot of money. And they went through the U.S. judicial system, and they each got, like, a couple of years in prison, which, like, you can have your opinions about that. But, like, when you think of this, you know... what the extrajudicial murder of these guys, you know, who, if they had been tried in the American system, like, probably would have gotten 3 or 4 years in jail. And we're just freaking bombing them. It's crazy. And this just happened in North Korea, too, which is psychotic. I don't know why we're fucking with North Korea. Yeah.
What?
There was something about, like, the Navy SEALs were supposed to be...
Oh, wait, I just saw a headline about that, and I was like...
Yeah. They were supposed to be, like, doing some spy mission to, like, try to interfere with communication or intercept it. And they ended up just, like, shooting up a boat of, like, North Korean fishermen by accident. Serious? Yeah. And then they just, like, left. They dipped. They were like, oops. So I just feel like everyone's like a freaking bumbling clown.
I mean, I definitely think he sets the tone at clown. And not French clowning, obviously.
No.
More like circus clowning.
Barnum and Bailey shit.
Yeah, third tier provincial clowning.
Not even that. I would say
yeah.
Children's birthday party clown.
Yeah. No offense meant to be given.
Yeah, we respect the working clowns of America.
Yeah, the tenor is clownish. I know. And then RFK with his silly voice, getting so mad everywhere. Dude, that man was not cut out. Also, I always forget that he had a worm in his brain.
How could you forget? Yeah, he had a worm that ate part of his brain. He also gave himself mercury poisoning from eating too many tuna fish sandwiches. He's also an ex-heroin addict.
Have you ever noticed that all the major public figures who are sober totally wreak just chaos on the United States of America?
RFK, Pete Hegseth.
I didn't know about Pete Hegseth. Oh, wait, yes. RFK, Pete Hegseth, George W. Bush.
Yeah.
And then there's one more who's, like, super destructive. Yeah. Anyway, they're all psychotic.
And then
and Trump is a teetotaler.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Trump is an alcoholic. Like, who's never one of those alcoholics who's just never drank.
I have a friend like that.
Yeah.
Who's literally never taken one drink.
And his name is Donald Trump.
No.
And you support his policies, some of his economic policies.
I'm just saying, like...
No, I'm just teasing.
I know. But it's, you know, you're right. But he's a wild man. And I think that's what people like. The Democrats were so annoying for so long that people just... Oh, wait. I have the biggest... Okay. So I was in San Francisco, and I was with, how can I be discreet? I was with people over a wide range of the political spectrum, as is the company I keep, you know. And one group of people I was with, for some reason, the book 1984 came up, and they were saying, like, do they even assign that in schools anymore? And I was like, I don't know, probably. Why? And they were like, well, I mean, it's basically just the Democratic handbook, so... And I was like, oh, wow. The Democratic Party has lost hearts and minds so completely that now people, and I couldn't tell if they were joking or not, and I don't think they were joking, that people feel like the Democratic Party is like the big brother in 1984, even though Trump is doing extrajudicial killings. He's deporting green card holders off the street with masked dudes. He's fucking bombing Iran out of nowhere. And I was like, but the messaging is so bad on the Democratic side that people literally think they're like Big Brother in 1984.
Like getting canceled. Like the fear of getting canceled.
Yes.
Totally.
That is a problem with the Democratic Party, in my opinion. Things, to me, I was like, that moment crystallized for me how lost the battle is.
Well, that kind of segues into the article in terms of the anxieties of
just
people.
Just set me up and get me going, Sarah, because this really made me mad.
So, Francesca made a few statements online that people had really strong opinions about this article in New York Times Magazine called The Trouble with Wanting Men
by Jean Garnett.
Jean Garnett. Who is she? Do we know?
I don't know who she is because I don't really care. She has basically all I know about her is that on Instagram, she and her twin sister, who I think is her identical twin, have the same Instagram as if they were one person.
Are you sure she's not doing, she's not having a radiance you know, like a princess of 72nd Street. Split personality vibe.
Whoa. That would be cool.
Esmeralda. That's the name of the princess of 72nd Street.
Whoa. You're kind of tripping me out right now.
Wait, this is kind of a side note, but did you see that the Eat, Pray, Love chick has a new book?
Definitely. I would never keep tabs on something like that. Please tell me.
Gia Tolentino did a book review that I read in the New Yorker. But, okay, Eat, Pray, Love woman literally tried to murder her girlfriend. Yes.
Because of psychosis?
No.
Because of what?
She was dying of cancer. Sorry, trigger warning to everyone here. She was dying of cancer and she was a drug addict. And so she was like enabling.
Whoa. Post Eat, Pray, Love journey, which leads to Eat, Pray, Love publishing success. Then she becomes a drug addict?
Yeah, she becomes a drug addict and she falls in love with the drug addict who kind of like puts her on this. Okay, I'll just tell the story really briefly. So she meets some guy on her Eat, Pray, Love journey and she marries him.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Okay.
She leaves him for her hairdresser, I think.
Women.
Or she's in love with her hairdresser, and then her hairdresser, who's like also her best friend. Maybe she's not her hairdresser.
Is it a woman or a man?
A woman. And then the woman, her best friend, is like, I'm dying of cancer. And so Elizabeth, I think her name is, the Eat, Pray, Love chick.
Wait, is that the article that just came out of New York Mag about like love of the century? The woman who's dying of cancer and her friend like leaves her relationship.
Yes.
Because I took one look at that and I was like, I'm not gonna read that.
That's the Eat, Pray, Love chick. So she ends up like caring for her best friend / lover.
Who's a fucking heroin addict.
Yeah, and so she's enabling her. You know, she's like giving her the drugs, which I kind of get if like someone's dying.
I thought
like,
it was suspicious. I read the first paragraph and they were like, I'm a former heroin user. But then they said I could have morphine and I thought, why not? I'm dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she gets hooked back on drugs. And then I think her name's Elizabeth Gilbert. She also becomes addicted to drugs. And then they have this like toxic, insane relationship where she's like caring for her and they're like madly in love, whatever. But at some point it reaches a crescendo and she like covers her lover with like fentanyl patches and like tries to like OD her. And then her friend like wakes up and is like, it doesn't work.
Wow.
And I guess how I feel about that in relation to this article is like, I do think it would benefit us all to have a little more shame and maybe keep some of this to ourselves.
I was just thinking about how we used to be shame-based societies, Sarah. This is the most annoying thing I'm going to say all day, maybe all week. I just made a video about this, Sarah.
Did you post it? I didn't see it.
No. I was saving it for tomorrow.
Okay.
We used to be, okay, this is the theory. So I feel like we're spitballing here, so maybe we could find something. You think people need more shame. I was thinking maybe the reason people got so mad about the left being woke is because pre-Judeo-Christian religions, we were shame-based societies, right? That's how we kept the social structures tight, right, in behavior. But then with the advent of Judaism, we turned to more guilt-centered. Like the impetus to not transgress social behavior became not being shamed by the group, but personal guilt and kind of going to hell and stuff, right? So maybe the reason people hate frickin' woke culture and cancel culture so much is because it's like hearkening us back a couple thousand years or 3,000 or 4,000 years to a way of modifying and keeping society that we had given up for these Judeo-Christian gods.
Whoa.
Right, dude? I had that thought.
Okay, well, that's really interesting. It makes me think of a couple of things. First of all, Adam wanted to watch some movie about deep sea diving. Ugh. Or no, deep sea welding. Undersea welding, which is about
about
how someone gets trapped. And I was like, why don't we watch Moonstruck instead? And there's a scene where Cher, after she sleeps with Nicolas Cage, she goes to confession like that day. Yeah. And she's like, I did this and I did this and I slept with the brother of my fiance. Uh-huh. And then the priest is kind of like, you really need to think about, you need to reconsider some things. And then he goes and do 2 rosaries. And it's like in Catholicism, that's it, Like she slept with her brother's fiance and she prayed 2 rosaries and she was forgiven, So I think that like we do, you know, we got forgiveness, right? In Christianity.
That's what they gave us.
Which is a good thing, but it does make people a little brazen with their confessions. And I think people who maybe don't have a priest feel like if they confess, you know,
New York Mag, maybe they will be absolved.
There's a catharsis to that.
Of their sins. Mm-hmm.
And I'm torn because I guess when I'm invoking shame, I'm more thinking like, I do think that people should have to sit with what they did and not get that catharsis. But I don't know if I agree about a shame-based society, because I was reading about the Inuit and they were a shame-based society. And it was
literally everybody was a shame-based society, is my understanding. I think that they all were.
And it sounded pretty bad. Like once, like if you, it was talking about how this man was with all the men and he expressed missing his wife. And everyone was like, you're a fucking pussy. And they all started pointing and laughing and making fun of him. And then they went and told his wife, and then she was making fun of him. And then he was basically like cast out of society, because it's like not in the culture to express feelings. Like basically, like, you know what I mean? So I guess that
there's gotta be a middle zone between these like soy boy pussy-footed motherfuckers that she's talking about in this article, and Inuit society. Because I hear you. I guess it's good to express emotion, but like my big takeaway from reading this article a second time, and I'll say I'm just as irritated by it the second time as I was the first, and I completely stand by everything I said, for the record. But like, she talks about how the guys that she likes are like, he's a gentle, goofy, self-deprecating, rather deferential, a passionate humanist, a sweet guy, a good guy. But then she like bitches the whole time about like how these guys that she chooses act like pussies. And I was like, bitch, you're into pussies. That's what you like. That's what you're seeking out. A pussy's gonna act like a pussy. So what the fuck are you bitching about?
I kind of have a different take on it. I think she says she wants a good guy, but I actually don't really think she does. You know? I think she is an untreated sex and love addict, first of all.
Do we need to tell people what the article is about?
Yeah, okay. So, we're back to Jean Garnett. Here's the like tagline for the article. Women are so fed up with dating men that the phenomenon even has a name, heterofatalism. So what do we do with our desire? So the article starts and she's on a date.
She sleeps with him immediately.
Yeah.
Like within, it seems like 45 minutes to 2 hours. I'm just going to put that out there.
So she meets him at the bar and she's like, you know, he's attractive to me, whatever. He has the kind of face I like, and he has been a little difficult to pin down, delayed in his responses, which I also like. And then, you know, the rest of the article is about how like men are poor communicators. But I'm like, right off the bat, you're admitting that you're into a guy who's like a little unavailable.
Also, my perspective is like, and then she gets mad because then they're supposed to meet up the next week. And he's like, I'm just too anxious. I can't. And she's like, I don't understand why these guys, and she's bitching with her friends, I don't understand why these guys can't like man up and come over and fuck us, you know? And I want to be like, well, maybe because you slept with him in the first 45 minutes, bitch, he just doesn't want to fuck you anymore. You know what I mean?
Totally. Like if he's a guy who's being a little, listen, men do experience anxiety. I've known anxious men. You know, we live in an anxiety provoking society. At the same time, is this an excuse?
I just feel like maybe he's saying he's anxious. Maybe he just doesn't want to do you anymore because you were easy.
This might be the harsh truth.
Maybe because nobody in this article talks about doing things differently, such as saying to a man, this is how I want you to treat me. I'm not interested in anything casual, and I'm not going to fuck you until I have a commitment. Never once is that tried in the article.
Yeah.
Like literally all of them are just sleeping with these dudes immediately. And I just, you know, look, I've had men tell me this. I've had women tell me this. And I know it to be true. Most men, they like the pursuit. You know what I mean? That's what they like.
And they also know that you like men a little. Yeah, but no, I think men also understand that women don't like men who are super, super available. That's something that my husband has said that he is aware. Was that like if he was too available, and too, if he was too available, women would get turned off.
Interesting.
So he would purposefully be more aloof.
Oh, wow.
As a strategy.
Okay. So I just feel like I just also don't have a lot of, like, at no point do any of these women say from the get how they want to be treated by the men they're interacting with. You know?
No, they definitely want men to read their minds.
Yes.
I mean, at one point she talks about how, like, she feels like she's playing the game of dating, and that she feels like not expressing what she wants is something that the men want from her. I'm trying to find the quote.
I know what you're talking about. While you look for that, I also feel like, I mean, this is so old. It's like, why would you buy the cow if you get the milk for free? Do you know what I mean? I really do feel that way.
I know, and the way that she's having sex, it just seems to me, well, first of all...
And also, I just want to be clear, the whole article is about how she can't find guys who actually want to be with her, that she's attracted to, and then she drops in that she was married with, ostensibly, if somebody's going to marry you, they want to be with you. Let's just assume that, right? That's not too wild.
Mm-hmm.
And she's, like, frustrated and horny. It's like... And she broke off her marriage in large part, she says, I have the direct quote somewhere, in large part because she fell in love with another man who would not commit to her. So I'm just like, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you when you walked away from a sure thing that you'd already made a lifelong commitment for some guy who won't even say he wants to be with you. Do you know what I mean? I just don't have a lot of sympathy because it clearly seems like this bitch did have what she's talking about. She had a guy who wanted to be with her. She just chose to, like, find something more satisfying, which she can't find, clearly.
Yeah, so she says, I toppled the whole structure of my life for a man who, when I asked him, do you want to be with me or not, replied, after a few seconds silence, I want to be with you and I want everything everywhere all at once, referencing the movie. Which I'm like, just, it's very impractical to first blow up your marriage and then ask this man who you're leaving your marriage for if he wants to be with you.
I know, get your like, you got to get your shit in order. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to leave your family, you got to make sure the new family, the new situation is set up, you know?
It seems very clear to me in this article that she's still in love with the guy that she ended her marriage for.
Yeah.
And therefore she keeps choosing unavailable men because she is holding out. And she says so much. She says,
I've tried to learn how to have a friendship with him.
Yeah, she's still trying to be his friend,
And they hang out with her kid, which she drops in 80% of the way into the article, that she had a kid from this first marriage, that it is not like a stakes-free choice, the ending of her marriage. You know what I mean? There is a child involved. And she's hanging out with that child and the guy who broke up her marriage who doesn't want to be with her.
Yeah, she says, I experience desire in terms of a struggle that someone must lose. A good man is hard to want, after all, and my sexuality owes me neither protection nor affirmation. It is out for itself, out for a skirmish, a strain, a smell. So she's very telling on herself that she, like, doesn't, it just really doesn't sound to me like she wants to find,
you know what, this
relationship.
You know what this reminds me of? I was single for 5 years between my first marriage and then meeting my second ex-husband. I was single for 5 years, and I remember I was bitching about it to this friend of mine, a guy, and I'd been probably bitching about it for like a year or something. And he was like, he was like, shut up. He was like, if you wanted a boyfriend, you'd have a boyfriend. And it just made me realize, like, I didn't really want to be with anybody, you know? And I think what you're saying from reading this is, I don't think she really wants to be in a relationship. She wants to be in love with somebody who doesn't want to be with her, but that's different.
And that's like a drug. That's very addicting. And that's why she's going on dates with men who are already in committed partnerships and are asking her on the first date if she's down for group sex.
Which she's like, definitely, is in some people are really into, and that's great. But this woman is very clear that she's not into it.
No, and she says she really wants like a two-person relationship. She also says, like, when she goes on a date with this guy, this was also very telling for me, is that when she goes on the date with the guy who is trying to have a group sex dynamic with her, she makes a comment about that he doesn't look like her normal type because his hair looks recently washed and cut. So I'm like, who are you going on dates with? Like dirty men, like dirty, slovenly, mentally ill men who can't fucking take a shower before a date or before they see you. You know what I mean?
So she just has bad taste. You know what? God is saving her from her desires. And that's maybe a blessing.
Say more.
Well, she's like, what she wants is only, you know, rejection is God's protection, as we said before. You know, like what she wants is only going to cause her pain. It's actually better to be floating around on her own rather than like trying to really be with one of these terrible men that she keeps picking. I mean, there's nothing terrible about them. They're just children. She wants to be with a child. It sounds like she's kind of a child. Do you know what I mean? Whatever happened to like, I have to pull out my Bible. We put away childish things. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's really cool that you could theoretically have sex with anyone. But most people get over that at a certain point. And they realize, this is my big philosophy of marriage and relationships. It doesn't really matter who you're with, in my opinion. It just doesn't really fucking matter. Anybody you're with, you're gonna have problems. It's gonna be hard. Like, there's no perfect person out there. I think this is also the illusion of like Disney and like the apps and gamification and buying things online. It's like, as if if I just keep looking, I'll find that one. There is no one. There's just different variances of something that might work if you put dedication into it over time. Will it be easy? No. Will it be worthwhile? Like, one of the comments that I saw that really set me off about this was like this idea, like, how would you want her to stay in an unsatisfying marriage? And I was like, literally ask anyone you meet on the street, just like straight up, I don't know, if you're just like, yo, are you satisfied? Like, don't even ask it about marriage. Like, what percentage of people are going to say, yeah, totally, I'm satisfied? Satisfaction is not most people's state of being, right? And it's also like, it's not the goal in life personally. My mom used to always say, she's like, life isn't about being happy.
Well, I would like to quote Svetlana, the one-legged Russian from The Sopranos. I wrote down this quote. So she only has one leg and she has a very troubled life. Yeah. And there's a scene where Tony's sitting next to her and he's kind of like, how do you do it? Like, you've been through so much. You only have one leg. Like, how do you go on and I think he asks her, like, how are you happy? And she said, that's the trouble with you Americans. You never expect anything bad to happen when the rest of the world expect only bad to happen, and they are not disappointed. You have everything, yet and you still complain. You lay on couches and bitch to your psychiatrist. You have too much time to think about yourselves.
100% I agree with all of that.
Yeah, wise words. Which Tony Soprano did not live by.
No, don't go to therapy and don't think about yourself all the time.
I mean, some people should go to therapy.
Whatever. That's just my personal opinion. So you don't have to listen to me. I'm just some bozo on the bus. But this idea of like, this bitch is clearly thinking too much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you made a really good point too about that unsatisfying comment. That is like, what if it had been a gender reversal? You know, like, would you accept that if it was a man?
If a man was like, you know, I left her because
I wasn't sexually satisfied by the woman who has borne me children.
Yeah, you'd be like, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that she mistakes obsession for love. Because I think that love is actually much more mundane than people expect it to be.
Totally mundane.
And I think that, like, maybe it's been movies, like the soundtracks, you know how there's certain sounds that invoke different feelings in you, and the
Kreutzer Sonata. We've talked about the Kreutzer Sonata. I've got to have talked about that.
No.
Tolstoy?
No.
Anyway, basically Tolstoy believed towards the end of his life, he went so wild. I know, to bring it back to Tolstoy is so annoying since we thought we were finally done with him. But he believed that not even man and wife should have sex. Christian, like,
this was at the end of his life.
End of his life. But he also believed that music was such a heavy narcotic that would bring people into would like manipulate them into these emotional states that were wildly dangerous
like
to their
the town in
sanctity.
Footloose.
Exactly. Just like that. So anyway, he believed that music was like a drug, basically.
Yeah, so I think when we are watching romances on screen, for example, okay, Moonstruck.
I love that movie.
Yeah, but if Nick Cage was in real life, you'd be like, this man is first of all he's insane.
See, I would always go for a Nick Cage. You know?
Totally. I lost my hand. I lost my bride.
But see, that's also like, that's like Italians and then like Eastern Europeans. Also, like, they just like Southern Europeans and Eastern Europeans, they just communicate at a different level. That's why for me, fighting is invigorating, right? It's just like I am Nick Cage just in my daily life, right? Like the passions run high. I also think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you want to meet a life partner who's going to show up every day and is going to, you know, respond to your texts in a timely manner. If you're looking for Nick Cage, you know, you might not find that in a person like him.
Totally. Also, another thing I've been thinking about is like, because another article that it's so ridiculous, we can barely talk about it. The one about the data scientist who was like, I crunched the numbers and realized men weren't worth dating, and then she became a lesbian.
Yeah,
that's just like a parody.
She was, you know, she said she was a 2.5 on the Kinsey scale. So it wasn't like she was like a completely straight woman who had no attraction for women.
I think most women are a 2.5 on the Kinsey scale.
Totally.
But I was just thinking like also like this, because women are also always bitching about like they don't do enough housework. This is the big thought I have, which is like in the city. So I'm looking for like a help meet. Right? Like I want to help me, meaning like there are these two components, right, who all contribute to a greater good, and only each half can contribute its half. Meaning like, so in the house, if we're thinking like in traditional societies, traditional marriages, the woman would do all the housework, the cooking, the cleaning, but then there was all this exterior work that the men would do, right? Like the getting of food, the chopping of wood, the mending of the house to keep it warm, like all that stuff. The problem is in cities, the external or male part of that work has been totally removed, but all of the internal housework, female work remains. Right? So there's this problem, which is that like usually it wouldn't just be that women do all the housework, it's that there was external housework and men would do just as fucking much.
Totally.
So it was equal. But the problem is in cities, we don't have that anymore, right? Because we've outsourced it to garbage men and to the butcher and all this stuff.
So date a garbage man.
Honestly,
I feel like they probably are paid well and have a great pension.
I was going to say they're probably good in bed.
That too. They're really strong. I respect garbage men in the way I do firemen.
Totally. Completely.
But sorry, go ahead.
But my point is like, also women are always bitching how like men don't do as much housework. Well, I'm like, well, historically this isn't their half of the work. They've been removed from their half of the work. But the other issue is, do you want to be with someone? Like when I would have to sit back and think, this is that Christian wife book. Remember that when I was talking to you about that? The Surrendered Wife. Mm-hmm. Or The Empowered Wife. She changed the title because it was too controversial. Basically, her thing is she points out, she's like, would you want to be with a man who like was just like you and was like as assiduous with... So there's a lot of assumptions I'm making here. I'm just going with general assumptions. Please don't fucking go crazy on me. Like she was like, would you want to be with a man who was like as good at doing the laundry and folding and keeping everything perfect and clean? Like she's like, wouldn't you want somebody who had different qualities than you? She's like, if you wanted the exact same qualities, why wouldn't you just be with a woman like the data scientist in that article, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the article in New York Mag about the woman who looked at the statistics and decided that she was better off partnering with a woman, you know, she does say that her ex-husband was unemployed and did no housework. So in that case, I'm kind of like, yeah, like you gotta pick a lane, guy.
So if we brought it back to the shame-based society, he would be shamed into providing for his family, you know?
Yeah, or he would be like sent off to die
and then she could get a new husband.
Yeah, well, she doesn't want a new husband.
Well, maybe in the village she would have. I mean, she didn't make it wasn't very flattering to her partner. She didn't make it seem like she really was like into pussy or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be married to somebody because they did a bunch of social science and they came up with me being the best solution so they don't have to do as much work around the house.
You're so right. Yeah, it was like kind really of offensive.
And her partner's like a black woman. I was like, this is fucked up.
I take kind of like a cosplay approach to chores, like household chores. Like I kind of feel like I cosplay as a trad wife when I'm doing household chores, but I feel like I can tap in and out, you know?
I'm on a more extreme end of the spectrum, which is my preference is to do all the housework and just be appreciated for it.
Yeah.
I want no division of labor.
But you're kind of obsessive about, like, cleaning does not come naturally to me.
I am obsessive.
I'm kind of a natural slob.
Yeah, no, I'm very clean.
Yeah.
And I love to cook, and I have lots of strong opinions about a household.
So some nights my husband will come home and I'll be like, some nights I recently started cooking like this week. I mean, like actually like looking at a recipe, not just like making pierogi, you know. And so like when he came home, I was like, oh, like I'm just, you know, like I'm just cooking dinner, like you just relax, you know what I mean? But I feel like I like having the option of also not doing that. Be like, make something for, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, also, because I'm fair-minded, I remember my first husband, I was really informed then. He would come home and he was an electrician, so he worked not an email job, like a man's job. And he would come home and I would like serve him a steak on the table in heels and a skirt when he got home.
But was that for him or for you?
Well, listen, I remember, and then he was like, sometimes I wish you would just like be in sweatpants and we could have peanut butter and jelly. You know? So like it was for me. This gets back to like I want to be a trad wife.
Yeah.
You know.
But in that way it's like you want to perform femininity for yourself.
I just think that that's what that man deserved. He deserved a steak on the table.
Listen, I have a very high opinion of Adam, but like, you know, some nights I just think of the first episode of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel when she's like rushing to cook the roast and everything, and then she goes out to the comedy club. Like it's like, okay, I don't want to worry about that. Like if I'm going out with my girls, you can feed yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, maybe I love to cook. So to me, the cooking and the home is like a presentation of love.
It's like, yeah, okay, so that's
like
your love language.
I mean, I don't believe in that. That's like pseudo pop psychology, but whatever. Yeah. We can just use it for now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like to me, like I cook for my children. To me, if I weren't cooking for my children, I would feel like in some ways I'm not loving them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is what...
Because for you personally, that is an expression of your love.
Well, also, it's like love is not just some amorphous, like, free-floating emotion. You'll learn this in acting class. You can't just, like, emote, right? Like, that doesn't do anything in a scene. But also, like, the way that you come to love things, in my opinion, and this is what happens with children... There's a book that we should review. I think we talked about it before, but it's like this woman's estranged from her kid. She's like married to an artist or something, and she has an open relationship. Anyway, I was talking about it with my friend in San Francisco, and she's like, this woman talks, the whole book is about how she's a memoir, about how she's estranged from her child, but she like literally never cares for her baby. And like the way you come to love things is through caring for them, be it a child, be it a house. Like when you're on your knees scrubbing something, when you're wiping somebody's sweet little bum, that's how you know you love them. It's not just like, that's what this bitch fucking misses. It's like she thinks that love is just some existential state way up in the clouds. But like it is here on earth at hand. You have to do things. Like put others before yourself.
Yeah.
That's what love is.
I mean, I feel like all throughout this, she has a real like contempt and really low opinion of men that I feel like is not helping her on her quest for love. Like she says about her ideal man that he's a good guy and he tends to signal in various ways his exemption from the tainted category of men, and it is perfectly understandable that he would wish to do so. It must be mildly embarrassing to be a straight man, and it is incumbent upon each of them to mitigate this embarrassment in a way that feels authentic to him. So I'm like, you're going in with like a very low opinion of men. Obviously, like you're going to accept when men are you know, like have red flags or whatever, you know, like you're not really like looking for the diamonds.
She sounds like she wants a lesbian with a dick.
Well, she talks about that she wishes she could partner with her friend. She says, I wish I could just be gay with you. Which I'm like, okay, well, why don't you why don't you
do that?
Start a family, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you move in with your friend and raise the kid together? You know, like you could do that.
You could do that.
You don't have to be holding out for this.
May I say, guy who's never going to come. Because he's not going to solve the problem. Because nothing solves the problem.
And that's really, I think, what I was talking about with the sex and love addiction thing. I think it's really a self-esteem thing. Because when she has sex with the first guy, she says, I felt he wanted me, which was what I wanted, to be organized and oriented by his desire.
I know. I relate to that. But I was also like, that's painful.
At the end of the article, she's like walking by this couple making out on the street, and she literally like makes a vomiting noise.
I couldn't tell if it was her or somebody else. She makes the vomiting noise?
Yeah, because she has such...
I think she just hates herself.
I think so too, and that's sad, and that makes me feel bad for her.
We feel for Eugene and your twin.
Because I think like this idea that you're going to find the one man, like, you know, it's actually so much easier to believe that like if Jay, this guy who she broke her marriage up for... that if he loved her, then like she would be whole, you know, and she would have purpose and all this stuff. Like that's way easier to believe, and it's less accountability, you know, for her life, for her decisions. Yeah. But I think that like unfortunately, even if Jay said he wanted to be with her, I think that the thrill would really wear off very quickly.
6 months down the road, she'd be looking down the barrel of death and a meaningless life, and she'd feel the exact same fucking way. And then she'd leave Jay for another fantasy. Mm-hmm. And we can do that. I've seen it happen. People leap from fantasy to fantasy to fantasy. And I'm a big believer in love the one you're with. You know what I mean?
I just think like if you are someone who's already like, I wish I could be gay with my friends, like you know what real love is, right? Like you have love for your friends. So like why don't you search out that feeling in a man rather than searching for this like kind of toxic dynamic,
transcendent peak experience?
Yeah, like you're looking for a friend that you can have sex with.
Yeah.
Like to me that's what love is.
Yeah.
And then a person who
I'm looking for a helpmeet.
Yeah, a person who wants to build a life with you and wants the same things. But if you're just looking for like this intangible feeling of being completely like giving yourself
of oblivion.
Yeah, it's like obviously you're not going to find a person to partner with. And she also, you know, compares herself and her friends to Sex and the City.
Oh, I missed that.
Which I'm like, you know,
I don't even watch Sex and the City because I feel like it's propaganda.
I guess, what do you feel like it's propaganda for?
For like single women in their 30s, which is me, so I feel like I'd be highly susceptible to the propaganda.
I mean, Carrie Bradshaw is a complete narcissist freak. Like, she's insane.
Mr. Big is just, I don't get him.
She gives up this man.
Which one does she give
Aiden,
up? Oh,
who
he's hot.
Buys the apartment next door and like tears down the wall to make this like beautiful apartment for them. He can work with his hands. He's like very available, and she ends that for Big, who is giving absolutely nothing. He's kind of like old and ugly.
I'm not a big... I mean, Chris Noth, I respect... Oh, he got canceled.
He got canceled, and then Sex and the City killed him off they had him die on a Peloton.
That is so embarrassing.
I know.
That's like from a heart attack?
I think so.
Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Yeah, that's why I don't watch Sex and the City, because it's deranged. Love the one you're with. That's my advice. But you know what?
What?
This is sort of a sidebar, but I felt like really like I had to tell you this. I was reading. I'm finishing up Trollope, Barchester Towers.
Okay.
Which I would highly recommend. I was joking. I was saying this to somebody at dinner last night. I'm only reading books that men recommend I read. And so far, I have not been led astray because they have such good taste. So this was suggested to me by a man, a friend of mine. It's so good. It's so fun. It's such a page turner, which like he's a contemporary of Dickens. It's just not what you would think of as like.
Right.
But anyway, I read, I can't say what because it's way too unflattering, but there's a character in this book. My friend had been like, oh, just look out. There's a character who's like you. And I'd seen this character first and I was like, that he can't be. And then there was this, I'm not going to say what it was because it's too embarrassing. But there was this part with the character and I like had this moment of deep recognition and I was like, I too do that. And I saw myself.
But you can't tell us what it is?
No, I know. I'm so sorry. It's just so unflattering.
Okay.
I can't. But basically, I had this moment where I was like, art was redeemed in my eyes, Sarah, because literally this novel that was written like not quite 200 years ago, I saw myself reflected in its pages and I said, henceforth, I shall change.
Wow.
Art works.
Was art unredeemed in your eyes but previously?
It was vaguely redeemed, but I could never I would make these vague arguments about the value of art and what it does for us, you know, but like literally I am, God is my witness, hoping to be better and change and mend my sinful ways because of this novel.
I'm like so curious what this character was up to. Okay, well, great. I can't wait to read Trollop. That just also reminds me of, I wanted to talk about this radical rebellion that she feels like she's doing.
Oh, by complaining and whining?
Yeah.
I just also feel a little annoyed because, like, I'm also in the same boat as her, which is, like, I'm a divorcee with kids.
Yeah.
Who's dating. So I just feel a little, like, I don't know. Her whole stance I find aggravating.
I just really don't believe in staying friends with men that you slept with. I just think it's like a messy... I remember one time I asked this guy if he was available to be my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, because he had just...
got out of the mental institution?
Yeah, he had just gotten out of Bellevue.
That's literally the only guy who would say that to Sarah.
Yeah, and like, to be honest, like these men who are like, I'm anxious, I need to work on myself. I'm like, come on. But with him, I was like, fair enough, you know? Yeah. And he was like, I'd like to be your friend. And I said, I have friends.
Which is true.
And shortly after that, I started dating my husband, so.
That was shortly... Oh, wait, is this the... Oh, I forgot who this person was. Oh, that's...
Yeah.
I was putting this way back into, like, your youth.
No. You knew me at this time.
Oh, my God. That's even worse.
I can't say anymore. This is my own personal trollop. I can't find this part that I wanted to talk about.
What? Remind me?
Oh, this other thing she goes on okay, so one thing I'll say, Francesca, is like I don't feel like she is a fair representation of polyamory because
this is true, this critique.
When she is in an open relationship in her marriage, she says that this guy, Jay, who she ends up breaking up her marriage for, continually pushes the boundaries of what she had agreed to with her husband and that she engages with that. So it just seems to me like pretty obvious that she was cheating on her husband.
Yeah. But I would say that I cannot speak for the gays because the gay males are really on their own wavelength with this shit and seem to be able to do anything in the realm of sex. Mm-hmm. But all the straight people I know who've opened up their marriage, it has ended their marriage. Do you have, anecdotally, any counter evidence to present?
No, I have one couple friend couple.
Not married.
They're not married and they're not planning on having children.
So they don't. I'm not gonna. Oh, bitch. I told Sarah this before, but it bears repeating. I have it on very good authority that Ezra Klein is polyamorous.
Dun, dun, dun. Where do these bitches get the time?
I know, but this really, the coupling of him being actively polyamorous with a diabetic wife, may I add, who almost died in her pregnancies.
With a diabetes very like manageable.
She did almost die in both of her pregnancies.
Okay, I just hopefully he wasn't
fucking other bitches during.
Dying.
Never put up. But the coupling of his combination of being polyamorous and standing so hard for Israel, I think we have all the information about Ezra that we need. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time now. So if you have other insider info, I take information off the record, on background, and on the record.
Yeah.
Please come to us and tell us, because it is my personal goal in life to see the fall of Ezra Klein.
We're compiling a dossier. As others work on the Epstein list, we work on the Ezra Klein list. Did you see the press conference the women did?
No.
It was pretty intense. I found it to be very moving.
I have to admit, I'm a little bit like Trump. I'm like, you guys are still talking about Epstein? Which I forget. If that's a sin, please forgive me.
Well, it's because people kept saying over and over again, like, tomorrow we're going to release the list.
They released documents, but the documents had no new information.
The documents had already been released. Yeah. And then... Okay, I'm giving up. But basically, she just says it's, like, radical to complain with your friends.
But wait, what did all the... Yeah, which it's obviously not radical. If you want to be a radical, go to San Francisco and push over a Google bus. Or you could be like me and just say, die techie scum. Okay, but this is very serious. So they had a press conference.
Yeah, and then this guy who's, like, really high up in the Department of Justice, I don't know his name, but he got hot mic'd on... He got set up... Yeah, on Tinder. Like, he was on Tinder, and this chick was like, I guess, I don't know who she was, if she was a journalist or she was just an invested citizen, but she got him on a date and got him talking about the Epstein list, and this was after the press conference, and he was like, yeah, like, we're gonna release it with the Republican names redacted and only Democrats' names unredacted. And then he made a comment about Ghislaine being transferred to this low security prison. And he was like, yeah, it's like really you're not supposed to do that because she's a sex offender, da 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 da. And now he's like trying to backtrack and be like, oh, I was just talking about information that I had gotten from the news or something.
Maybe I should go back on the apps for this
to entrap Trump officials. Yeah.
Somebody was like, we would love to set you up with Elon Musk's right-hand man. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I would never go on a date with a guy like that.
Also, like, is that his, like, personal assistant? Like, who is he?
I think it was, like, this was a while ago. I think it was, like, the person who later would become the head of Doge or something. I know. And I was like, I think you don't know me.
Yeah. Elon Musk on track to become a trillionaire.
This money, that Elon Musk being the wealthiest man in the world and the trash make me think we're living in a simulation. Number one, where does all the trash go, you guys?
To
the Philippines.
Third world countries.
But then I don't believe he's going to be a trillionaire. Where is the money? Tesla has self-immolated. X doesn't exist and function anymore. I don't believe, where is this money? Buy gold. That's what I have to say.
Well, money is not. I'm talking about
his market valuation.
Stocks. Yeah. Like, he would never be able to, like, withdraw this in cash.
That's why it's all a fucking lie, you know?
Money's not real.
He's going to die.
Like
all of us, you know? He's just another person who will bite the dust. Ashes he came from, to ashes he will return.
Well, like Cher's mother in Moonstruck says, why do men chase women? And then,
yes, of course,
it's because of fear of death. That's what they learn. So why does Elon Musk chase money and power? Fear of death.
Yeah, but we have a message for Elon. You will die.
She comes for us all.
Yeah. So just buck up. Don't seek oblivion and just give in to the mundane. These mundane, ordered, stacked days that we have ahead of us. Make of them the best that you can with your helpmeet and your children. Care for others and give up on the fantasy of being saved.
And mundane's not bad.
No, I love the mundane.
Yeah. I think, like Svetlana said, you know, it's, you can't, happiness is not
a goal.
A commodity.
You know what it says on the dollar bill? It says that in pursuit of happiness. It doesn't say in the getting of happiness.
Yeah, it's about the journey.
Not the destination.
Totally.
Just like Sarah Gilbert should have understood. Elizabeth Gilbert. Eat, pray, love, now a drug addict.
In recovery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Muscle health.
But yeah, the survivors did the press conference, and a lot of them had never spoken out before or had previously been Jane Does. And they were like, they were like, what, who owed Epstein? Like, why was, like, they were less emphasizing, like, who was he farming out the girls to, but more who was protecting him. Yeah. And that, to me, is very valuable information.
Totally.
And one woman did say, you know, he had an 8x10 photo of Donald Trump on his desk. He said repeatedly that Donald Trump was his best friend.
Yeah, obviously.
They're
both from Queens?
I don't know where Epstein's from.
I'm like, feel bad that I'm always shitting on Queens.
I was in Forest Hills yesterday.
Oh, at a game? No, at a concert.
I was at a concert, yeah.
How was it?
Kind of nice over there. The concert was like a little boring, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you did an interview once about Gotham, and you were like, someone was like, what's the last concert you went to? And you said something like, live music does not move me. Like, that's kind of how I was feeling yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's largely overrated. Other than, like, give me, like, a small jazz club in Greenwich Village that's filled with smoke and smells like gin.
Yeah.
That sounds right for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I don't know. Is there anything else?
I don't know. I feel pretty well satiated for the moment, you know.
I guess we didn't really talk about the anxieties of men. But
I just don't care. I don't know.
They're worried about getting canceled, exposed on the internet.
Oh, by podcasters.
One man was like, I don't date podcasters. I don't want to become material. Which, honestly, know thyself, you know? Because if you are friends with an artist, for example, you know, like, you might end up as material.
But wouldn't you be so lucky to be a muse? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About in art, which changes lives, like mine.
Yes,
you know?
Recently confirmed.
Yeah.
The other thing I just wanted to point out is that there was this article in The Atlantic, which I do not pay for, don't worry, about how married women with children, mothers are actually happier than any other women.
That's like exactly against the evidence we were reading about from an article not that many months ago. This takes further investigation.
Well, it does, but I was more going to comment on the percentages. So in the survey, 19% of married mothers describe themselves as very happy, compared with 11% of married women without children, 13% of unmarried mother, and 10% of unmarried women. I'm like, these are very low numbers.
So women are really unhappy. I feel really happy, Sarah.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
To be honest?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a God in my life.
Yeah.
And purpose. As somebody was saying to me recently, instead of thinking I'm the center of the universe, which I either feel like I'm kind of like at the top of the heap or I'm like a huge piece of shit, I just feel like one leaf upon the tree of existence, happy and content in my place.
And that's really what we are. So to think anything else is delusional.
Fallacy.
So I hope, you know what, honestly, maybe...
Let's hope she finds God.
Maybe
Jean,
yeah.
Jean, we hope you find God. A God of your own heart and of your own understanding.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, with that, class dismissed. Bye.